This is Let's Talk Business Radio with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Mark.
Next up on the show is Dr. Taylor Luster, a chiropractic doctor and the owner of Inner Sanctum Chiropractic here in San Antonio. Dr. Taylor's area of expertise includes chiropractic, nutrition, blood work, and applied kinesiology. Dr. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
So, how did you get involved in chiropractic? I love this story. I know you've told me before, but tell our listeners how you got involved.
Well, thank you. I actually had a whole host of health issues, and they all just kind of culminated into 8 surgeries and all sorts of diagnoses and medications, and I wasn't getting better, and I was like 26.
Oh.
And I kind of fell into, I got into a car accident, and I started meeting a PI, a personal injury chiropractor, and so I learned part of that side, and I thought I could do this. And then at the same time, I also met a functional medicine chiropractor, and I started feeling better. I got off all of my medications. I really got my nervous system in line, and I just started doing a lot better. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put it to the universe and see what happens. I applied to all the chiropractic schools in the country, got into all of them. So I felt like that was a sign.
Yeah.
So I went and didn't really know what I was getting into and drank the Kool-Aid and loved it since.
So how long have you actually had your own practice?
Since April 2020.
Okay. And so the services you do general, like we call it stop and pop, right? I mean, I've heard that expression before, and I know you're not going to like that term as it applies, because it doesn't apply to what you guys are doing. Because tell me a patient experience when they come to your place at Inner Sanctum. What is their experience as a new patient?
Sure. Well, first, I want to say that all chiropractic works. So there is something for what I like to call the fast food chiropractic. Mm-hmm. There's purpose there. But our motivation is to give you that full patient experience. We want to spend more time with you. I just don't feel like I can doctor in 8 minutes. So our first patient visit looks like it's an hour long. I spend 30 minutes just talking to you about literally all of the things, and you will get adjusted during that visit. And every visit afterwards is about 40 minutes long. So we really get to know each other. I get to find out more about what's happening with your life and how we can try and make things changes in your life that will actually help you. And then you really get to know me, and it's just a lot of fun back and forth.
So chiropractic care typically takes some time, right, to go through it, because if you've got skeletal issues. So if somebody do you guys have like packages or programs, or how does that work?
I guess it really just depends on what your issues are coming in. I tend to see a lot of complicated patients because I do all of the nutrition and the blood work and all of that. I end up seeing a lot of really complex patients. Ours usually looks like treatment plans, but it depends on how long we think that your issues are going to be going on. So if you're just coming in for, I tweaked my back, then it might be 5 visits, and those 5 visits can last you 5 weeks, or they can last you 3 months, just depending on how well you do. And but if you have like more of a chronic issue like leaky gut syndrome or something like that, an autoimmune condition, then it might take us, 15 appointments, and that could last, like I said, that amount of time.
I wouldn't think that an autoimmune condition would be a reason why somebody would go to a chiropractor. So how does that usually end up in your office?
Sure. A lot of them come in because the medical community didn't have answers, or they just didn't really get talked to. Their doctor didn't really talk to them one-on-one. And that's actually how I got into chiropractic, is I had an autoimmune condition against my thyroid, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and the medical community just wanted to put me on thyroid medication, and the wellness community was like, well, let's talk about healing your gut with leaky gut syndrome. Let's talk about gluten sensitivity and how gluten looks like thyroid hormone. And if you get off of it, then you won't be insulting your thyroid all of the time, and it'll give your thyroid a break. And so I was like, well, let's try that. And my autoimmune condition disappeared. And you can't even find it on my blood work anymore. And all of my doctors were like, that's crazy. So a lot of people, when they're coming to chiropractic, don't necessarily think of us that way, but they come in and they have a whole host of issues. And sometimes what's inflaming your system or what's causing back pain or whatever else might be an internal something. And we need to think a bigger picture. Everything is really connected, and it's silly for us, in my opinion, to think that back pain is just a mechanical issue. There are a lot of other reasons why you can have back pain, everything from emotional to gastrointestinal to hormonal, all sorts of things. So it's really a bigger picture.
It's a holistic approach.
Yes.
And I know that word can be overused, but really it's a
Yes.
holistic approach to a person's health.
Yes, very systemic. Everything is connected.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are known for applied kinesiology at your place. So tell me what that is and why you're known for it.
Sure. Applied kinesiology is kind of a special technique. There's not a whole lot of people, I guess really in the country that do it. I am the only one in San Antonio that does it. It is a neuromuscular way of talking to your system. So the best way I like to explain it is that when you're walking on, like let's say on something rocky, right? Your foot is making all of these accommodations. And if you thought about it, you'd screw it up, right? So your brain is doing all of these changes that you don't know about, and we can actually talk to your body about what's happening, because maybe there's something wrong in your foot, and every time you're walking, then it's getting thrown out more and more, and it's going all the way up to your knee, all the way up to your hip, whatever that looks like. So we can ask your nervous system through neurology how to correct things. And it goes more than just, because everything is innervated by your nervous system. It's not just musculoskeletal. It's literally anything. We can ask your system anything.
I love how I'm always blown away about how complicated and amazing the human body is. Mm-hmm. Just what you were describing there, like when you're walking, your body's doing so many different things you don't even think about. But if you had to think about them, you wouldn't be able to process it, and you'll actually mess it up.
Oh, for sure.
That's so amazing, all of that.
I completely agree. I think the more I learn, the more I realize we know absolutely nothing about anything.
Well, we're about out of time. So if folks want to get in touch with you, Dr. Taylor, how do they do that?
You can check out our website. It's innersanctumchiropractic.com. You can also check out any of our socials. It's also at Inner Sanctum Chiropractic. Or you can give us a call at 210-756-9020. That's 210-756-9020. We would love to have you.
I love it. And in that first visit being an hour long, that's time to really kind of go through some things and make sure that we're off on the right foot. I love that.
Definitely.
Notice the pun there, Howie. I said get on the right foot.
I got it, man. You should be in marketing, Mark.
I missed
should be,
that,
right?
but I appreciate it.